Transportation of cannabis is $295. We'll talk about the road less traveled. There's a Nova Scotia man whose hobby is finding abandoned roads in this province.
Now, these are streets people used to live on back in the 1800s and the early 1900s that are no longer used. Colleen Jones set out to discover some of them for herself.
We start here on the Poor Farm Road. Steve Skafte is taking me on one of Nova Scotia's many abandoned roads, this one with a dark history.
Well, the Poor Farm Road was named after the Aylesford Township Poor Farm, and it was where they housed, to quote them, the orphans, the elderly, and the harmless insane.
You're warned before you venture off. There might be hazards along the way.
Mildly wet.
How did finding and researching Nova Scotia's abandoned roads become an obsession for Steve? It was curiosity.
It's like you're finding something in an attic, you know, or you've stumbled over like a letter somebody wrote and then forgot to send.
So after a little hike where there's nothing to see but nature in all its glory, we find the evidence that people once lived here.
The foundation of an old house, don't know whose, the well over there, and there's a remnant of a bridge that would have crossed the stream here.
He likes that on these old abandoned roads, he's finding a little bit of history and evidence that someone once lived here.
I've always felt like that's a big part of what's important about the history, because you have this ordinary human story that was left and forgotten about, the part we didn't bother with saving because there were no wars or battles or famous people associated with it.
He's slowly mapping as many routes on his abandoned road Facebook page. Plus, he's self-published this book about Nova Scotia's abandoned roads.
I've finished Annapolis County. I've mostly finished Kings. I'm working on Digby. So there's 90 some there. I have a list of another dozen or so to check out. They're all public roads, but they're not maintained trails. So right now people have this sort of excitement of I can explore something that nobody else is exploring. And for me, it's great. I want to be the first, and I am the first.
So tread lightly and maybe think of the people who once built a life here. Colleen Jones, CBC News, near Kingston.
Kind of an interesting history project, isn't
I know,
it?
nice time of year for it.
Yeah, you bet. All right, our first quick break is on the way. Do stick around.
So we have a lot more to come on CBC Nova Scotia News.